wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. Check, we Ric Flairing on them niggas. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Benny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, sun up, baby.
Yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack, Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the Swac, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeant is with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Scotty, and I'm back. We're back again on the roundtable with my boy Blue, the boy Wonder.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Big week this week, man. Big week this week.
Big freaking week. Big freaking week. You already know what it is, SWAC championship weekend, and we here doing what we always do, the roundtable. All right, back again. All right, now listen. Funny enough, I reached out to CFL. Did I not? We all in the group chat. Are we not?
Hey, we all in the group chat. We all in the group chat.
We're all in the group chat. I reached out to CFL. He was like, yo, I would be free any other day but today. And we don't really push it back and stuff like that. So it is what it is. You know, we kind of try to stay on schedule. Blue got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. So, but I did reach out. So I don't want y'all to think like, hey, Scotty be just all talk. No. I reached out to my man. He said he's working today. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. You know, so we got to do what we got to do. But I did reach out. So listen, we're going to get right into it. I ain't paying no bills today. So I ain't got no announcements. You already know what it is. Join the membership podcast. All right. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let me change this back brand because you already know what we doing today. Got the swag round table. All right, that's one. And let me get this after hour. Well, you know the after hours number. I'll leave it up. All right, first up, Blue. Quick thoughts on week 13, and you know where we're headed.
Oh man, listen. I need like hashtag free Bishop Bonnet, man. Hashtag free Bishop Bonnet is like the whole. It's like the whole mindset for week 13, man. They 9 carries was ridiculous, and it's just a game of what is for FAMU. What happens if they actually let Bishop Bonnet keep running the football? What if Isaiah Lands shows up on the defensive side of the ball? And I thought looking at that game as a whole, FAMU had chances to keep themselves in the game. I thought the moment got too big. And for me, what I'm hoping happens is that FAMU uses it as a learning experience and a springboard in the next season. Now they know what they have to fix. Can they go into the offseason and fix it so the same thing doesn't happen if they get back there next year?
Okay. I can rock with that. You know, for me, I just simply ask, who on FAMU is coaching? I mean, who really came prepared? Like, was there any type of offense being distributed on the FAMU side? So, I mean, did anybody come to play? Okay, that's just my answers right there. So, I mean, it's just that simple for me, Blue. Nobody came to play. Nobody was prepared. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, I've talked to a few Rattlers. They say, hey, listen, man, we were just 1-10 a few years ago. We will happily take 9-3 and being relevant in the SWAC, being in top contention in the SWAC. So, hey, listen, if you're happy, I'm happy. Okay. If you, like my mama said, if you like it, I love it. And I'm going to just leave it at that. That's week 13 on the thoughts. It is in the Bayou Classic. You know, Pop, you see what I got behind me, the Pop Warner teams in the back. So that's what we're doing. All right, next up. All right. This is you already know why I'm asking the question, but I really want to dig a little deeper because you come from a holistic view of college football, not just me and and a lot of other SWAC people. I'm not a SWAC guy, but just covering the SWAC. Is what Alabama State did the norm for most college hiring in the process that goes in it? Because we see Lincoln Riley get swooped up. We see Coach Kelly get swooped up. So should fans be outraged or should they just hold the team accountable afterwards?
Okay, so with the two situations you named, I still feel like they're a little different, and there's a lot of people kind of grouping them together. So with the Lincoln Riley situation, that team was out of playoff contention. They are not making the playoffs. They're not in the Big 12 championship, and as the recruiting schedule gets pushed up year after year after year, it's forcing these teams to have to make earlier and earlier decisions. Back in the day, you didn't used to see coaches being fired week 4. But now with early signing day and with more and more kids wanting to get that 6 months in the program, go through bowl preparations, get in early enroll, get their degree, so that way they can be graduate transfers potentially and things like that. It's forcing coaches and it's forcing schools into the situation where they have to make decisions like that. And this goes back, Scotty, all the way to one of our other roundtables. This is why college football has to pull away from the NCAA. The NCAA is putting these coaches and schools in bad positions because if you let's say you say yes to LSU, but you say, you know what, I'm going to stay at Notre Dame till the end of January. What, you're going to miss early signing day? You're going to recruit for 2 schools? Are you going to keep Notre Dame from searching for their next head coach? It's just impossible. And so I think they're put into a weird situation, but the Lincoln Riley scenario is nothing wrong. If all you're competing for is a random bowl game at the end of the year, get on the plane, go to USC and get your money. I have no problem with that. Go get your recruits. But the reason a lot of people are having issues with the Brian Kelly situation is because they still are in playoff contention. They're the number 6 team in the country right now. What happens if Cincinnati gets upset, which is a great possibility? They're playing the top 20 Houston team. What happens if Bama loses again to Georgia, their second game of the year to Georgia? That's possible. What happens if Michigan overlooks Iowa, gets upset? We've seen it happen before. What happens if Oklahoma State loses? There's so many scenarios where Notre Dame's finding themselves in the Final Four. Who's coaching that team? Marcus Freeman is going to be the interim defensive coordinator. He's actually was Cincinnati's D coordinator last year. 0 head coaching experience. So his first game coaching Notre Dame might be a semifinal game in the playoffs. That's nuts. Never happened before, and I never thought we'd see it happen. But that's why I have an issue with what Brian Kelly did. I have a big issue with it. He shouldn't have done that. You at least got to stick it out till next week and split your time. So Billy Napier, the coach that Florida hired, he's splitting his time this week between Florida and Louisiana Lafayette because Louisiana Lafayette plays in the Sun Belt Championship on Saturday. So he said, listen, I'm not abandoning my team. We have championship aspiration. So he said, I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the morning recruiting Florida players, getting that ready, but the rest of the day is getting my team ready for a championship. So I have no problem with Brian Kelly accepting the LSU job, but what he should have done is say, listen, I have to stick with my team, see if we get in the playoffs, and if we do, we have to, I got to coach that game. You can't abandon your team in the playoffs, man. That's ridiculous. So I have a problem with what Brian Kelly did, but Lincoln Riley, what, you're gonna mess up your first recruiting class at USC because you want to go play in the Fiesta Bowl, maybe? I don't think you can do that. But college football playoff and national championship aspirations are different. So I think Brian Kelly handled it all wrong. But for me, man, this is how the coaching process is going to go. And I said it, if you go back, I'll have on the 2-minute drill we did in the summer. I said on the episode that we're going to see more coaches being fired before week 6. We saw 8 fired before week 5 this year. So it's going to keep getting earlier and earlier. And with recruiting becoming more and more important and a more, national expansion, you're going to see coaches being fired early. I mean, USC fired, what's his name, HAMPTON in week 3 after one loss. And they said, get out of town. We're tired of you. So the NCAA is putting the schools in a position. So the idea that, the schools are so dirty for doing it, well, they got no choice. You either do it, or look at what happened to Oklahoma. Now they don't have a head coach, and they've damn near lost 17 transfers in the past 48 hours. So for me, man, they got put in a position. The only reason people are mad at Brian Kelly is because he still has a playoff chance. But all the other coaches, man, this is common practice. But for Alabama State, I mean, it's so different because they supposedly they had that list of candidates that came in or expressed interest, and they hire somebody with no coaching experience. That's not normal. That's not the process. Any other school in the country would have, they would have burned it down. I mean, so there's SEC schools who, Tennessee had a legit protest where they threatened, big boosters started to take money out with picket signs and everything just at the thought of Greg Schiano interviewing because he was on the Penn State staff with the Sandusky ordeal. Yeah. He had nothing to do with it. He was a grad assistant. So he had no involvement in it. But just because his name was linked, they about burnt the school down. Could you imagine if they hired a real estate agent with 0 coaching experience? What Tennessee would have done? I mean, it would be bad. And so that's not common practice. But I think what you saw with Alabama State was probably not the norm, to be completely honest with you.
Okay, so my question is this, right? Because I have from good authority that Rod Woodson interviewed, Hugh Jackson interviewed, not just interested. These two guys interviewed. do most schools let their candidates out? Like of who or because I know usually when you come on, you said, "Hey, this guy's a potential candidate. This guy's a potential candidate." I hear you say that a lot on the stuff that when there's open jobs are hidden. Like, are the candidates usually hidden? Like, if it's at a Tennessee or Vanderbilt or Mizzou or how is like I'm saying like the process of all that.
So it's so different with the SWAC though, because you like, and I've tried to explain this to some of my, like, I know the people who listen a lot to my show, who like listen to both Power 5 and my SWAC content probably understand this, but the coverage that I can get and the people that I can call for a Power 5 job are so deep compared to the people I can get for a SWAC position. I mean, when you look at the amount of insiders inside of a program, like for the TCU news, I know for a fact Dion interviewed for that. He might have turned it down, and he did. They hired another coach, but I know they called him because I have a guy who's covered that program and is inside that program for 15 years, Scotty. Nothing walks in and out the athletic department that doesn't get by him. And so when I talk about this is a potential candidate, this, most of the time it's because for Power 5, they're tracking planes, Scotty. When Lincoln Riley got fired, every single plane that left Norman, there was a 247 scout tracking who was on the plane, looking at the manifest, looking where it was going. Every single person who leaves Norman is scouted by somebody from 247 rivals. They do not let anybody go at all. And so that's the type of coverage you get. And they also pay off the boosters that will say, okay, yeah, I'm on the search committee. Throw me 100, throw me so much money and I'll tell you who's on the search committee and things like that. So for Auburn's head coaching search last year with Harsin, there was never a day I didn't know who like someone was interviewing or who was in Auburn or things like that. And then also the 247 scouts will pay people around the town to say, if you see a coach walk in here, send me a picture. So with LSU, there was a picture of Lincoln Riley's wife in Baton Rouge that got leaked ASAP because I mean it is so much different than the SWAC. So it's easier for an Alabama State to hide it because how many people are covering? How many insiders do you think Alabama State football has? Maybe two? Maybe
the alumni. Yeah.
And like maybe the Montgomery Advisor. But I bet you he's just a Alabama State insider, but he also covers Auburn and Alabama football. I bet you he's not on the campus of Alabama State all day. So that's the difference. But there are schools that are hidden. I love this quote. And I don't love the announcer per se, but Colin Cowherd said it best. The stories that get leaked for a reason sometimes too. So you got to be careful and check your sources on it. But if like Brian Harsin came out of nowhere, but I knew 6 hours before the announcement came that he was being hired because 247 scouts got in the building and found out. So it's really hard for these P5 teams to hide candidates. But I will say Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly came out of nowhere. I mean, out of absolutely nowhere with that. But now we found out that Lincoln Riley deal came together in 6 hours, man. 6 hours that deal between USC.
When you put everything that he got, I would have been gone. I mean, listen, where do I sign? Like, come on, man. It's just he literally got everything he asked for. If he asked for it, he probably got it and some. So you're absolutely right. Like, oh man, he's just crazy. Just absolutely phenomenal.
So it's way easier for Alabama State to hide. Yeah, and it's different, man. I mean, and that's where for me, that's where the SWAC coverage needs to improve is they got to get more people that have like real insider information and have a relationship with the coaches and the boosters and the program advisors because I feel like there's so much hearsay in SWAC media coverage because nobody's getting paid. I mean, man, I would say you rank a bigger insider than half the people who work for a legit publication in terms of your SWAC coverage. And that's how do you let that happen if you're a school where it's like, okay, yeah, these YouTubers who have no connection to our program know more about us than the people who are paid to know about us. And so that's where I think the SWAC really, really differs in terms of, the coverage of coaching searches. But when you're Alabama State and you can hide behind the Alabamas and Auburns in your state in terms of coverage, man, it's so easy to hide the candidates. And it doesn't surprise me that no one heard about it till it already happened.
That's real, man. Thank you, Blue. Listen, Boy Wonder. You already know you're gonna come with the facts, analytics, and all that. Now, let's get to the SWAC championship game, Blue. All right. Now, we're still on coaching. How much is Dooley hiring a distraction? Good, bad for the team? What's your opinion about that?
Man, every coaching hire is a distraction, especially when I mean, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's even denied it, right? and
No,
never even addressed it in the media. So it's always a distraction, especially when, I mean, let's be honest, the players watch all the shows that have talked about it. They read all the articles, everything. So you do have a little bit of doubt, especially when there's already rumors that it's pretty much confirmed and that they're just going to announce it after the game, regardless if PV wins or loses. So as a player, you got to be looking at it sideways. And then it also doesn't help, like you said, everything's in the news. Brian Kelly's texting players at 11 p.m. saying, you got an 11-minute meeting in the morning. I'll let you know what's going on in this dip. So it's got to be a distraction. And then on top of that, the problem with the coaching search now too is you're on a 4-game losing streak now, 3 games, and so
you go right to my next question: do you hire him if he loses bad? Because mind you, let's break this down for people. Texas A&M, you were going to lose that. The Alcorn game, you could have sealed it up. You come out, you play half a lackadaisical, you get down, you fight back, you fumble, you lose that game. You go into Texas A&M, you get mollywopped, everybody gets hurt pretty much. You come out of that game, you go see Valley, you already got it sealed up because Jackson State did it for you. Because I promise to God, if there was pressure on that game that they had to win that, they're losing that even worse to me. I think Valley still comes out on top, and man, you look like a freaking you look like Aladdin out here with the genie, the way you called that game. So you have that loss, and then now you're going into the next game, which is your SWAC freaking championship, and now you're on a 3-game losing streak. And now if you lose like what people think you're going to lose, if I'm Southern, what am I looking at right here? I'm looking at a straight debacle right in front of my face, and I'm going to hire that? Come on, Blue. Would you hire him?
I mean, I don't think they should have hired him even if he wins this game. To be honest with you, I mean, listen, how do you justify? Well, I mean, listen, the way they're going to justify it is at least we didn't hire a real estate agent. At least this guy coached college football games. So like, it's really easy. Like Alabama State probably set Southern up to lose. They're like, we're gonna mess our hire up so bad that you can hire anybody. They can keep Rollins and they look like a great hire. But I mean, for me, like, I don't think he should be hired because the problem is if Alabama State got the hype behind their candidates, you can't tell me Southern didn't have a better list than what Alabama State had.
Facts, Blue. You spitting. You spitting.
I mean, if Alabama State could land, 7 of all 7 of the hires on your list probably would have been A+ in my book. A hire for Alabama State. There's no way Southern didn't have the options that Alabama State had. There can't be. And I refuse to believe it if someone tells me otherwise because they had to. But this whole idea that, he's a Southern man and why would we go anywhere else? Like, because he isn't winning where he is. Like yes, he got to the SWAC championship, and it's mostly because Alcorn choked against Bethune-Cookman. If that game doesn't happen, Alcorn's going to the championship game right now. Yes. So for me, he hasn't won at Prairie View. And you say what you want about Prairie View, they have some nice facilities, things like that, and they have a solid team. They got a good quarterback, they got great running backs, they got a solid wide receiver core. Dumas is a monster on the D line. You got talent, and you still struggle down the stretch to beat Valley, to beat Alcorn, and you laid an egg. His coaching down the stretch has been atrocious. You start out, what was it, like 31-6 or something like that in the Alcorn game? They ran up the score on you, and then you go to A&M and you get murdered. And not even, you're supposed to get murdered, but you got everybody hurt. You didn't manage the roster whatsoever. And then you go to Valley and you keep your starters in too long when the game was pretty much over. And then you lose one of your best offensive players because he broke his ankle. Where's the roster management? Where's the team management? Where's the season management? He doesn't check any boxes other than he's an alumni. That's it. That's the only box he checks for Southern, and that he's has SWAC experience, I guess. So you can say 2 boxes checked. Man, there's no way he's the best hire on your books. If that is, whoever's running the search committee, the AD for Southern, they got to be let go, because if that's the best you can give me, I don't want to hear it. And I don't think you deserve that job in that case. That's
Roman Banks. If anybody doesn't know that is AD Roman Banks, spelled ROMAN Banks, like Mr. Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just if anybody didn't, if you wanted to know who he's talking about. But yeah. Former basketball coach, former head basketball coach of Southern. Never been an AD in his life, but just want to throw that out there if anybody knew that. But yeah, so listen, Blue, I feel like Southern pissed in your Cocoa Flakes. I feel like Eric Dooley. I feel like that would be, if I was saying all that, they'll be like, like Scotty, you like, hey man, you hating, you all hey. You know what I'm saying? But I just want. I mean, you listen, bro. I'm on the. You over here. I'm with the same picket fence. I'm with you. You over here spitting today, boy. You feel like you coming out here swinging. I'm like, oh shoot, Blue is not playing today. All right, so and I'm gonna shorten it up because you said it so beautifully, Blue, so beautifully. I didn't want him to be hired anyway. He could have been on a 4-game winning streak. Oh, nah, if he would have beat Texas A&M, I probably would have given him the job. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But if I would have given him the job right then and there. But if, I don't care if he would have won every game but Texas A&M. I just don't think you pay $400,000 for Eric Dooley. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if he goes to Grambling and they pay him $250, whatever, congratulations. Like, okay, like, and if I'm Southern, if I lose out on him, it's not the end of the world. It's not. HBCUs are hot right now. I'm talking about fish grease hot. So you can find a candidate to come in and change your program around. Now, would you like the skin color of him? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But there's coaches out there that are qualified to coach this team and do it at a high level and bring the excitement to the fan base and to the surrounding SWAC environment to be like, yo, this is fire. You know what I'm saying? So, or you can go with another real estate agent and, just do SWAC things. Okay. Just do SWAC things. So I'll just leave it at that. Now to the game. Prairie View at Jackson State. I'm gonna go with Blue's X factors. Go ahead, Blue. Break them down.
Yeah, man. So for me, it starts with PV's O-line. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if there's any chance that PV's winning, the O-line's got to play. And I mean, they've been in the top 2 all season long in sacks allowed. Their offensive line has played extremely well this year. Paved the way for a top 3 rushing attack in the SWAC. They've allowed the second least sacks, only behind FAMU this season. Offensive line has been a strength of this team. This is by far their biggest test. If they allow James Houston to get loose on the edge, man, it's over. Just wrap it completely up, man. And also on top of that, where, with the injuries and everything on the offensive line is going to have to carry the load, I think. I know Brooks is kind of banged up. I know they lost one of their top 5 receivers last week. I mean, there's injuries all over the place. So the offensive line is at least going to have to give that stabilizing force to the offense and allow Jawan Pass some time to make good decisions. Mm-hmm. For the defense side of the ball, man, there's one guy who can wreck shop, and that's Jason Dumas. Listen, I talked to a parent of a Jackson State player the other day. And he said that Dumas is terrifying him. He said the way that the centers and guards played this year, that Dumas might have 3-4 sacks this game. Because the weakness of Jackson State's offensive line is the center and the 2 guards. Zero communication, 0 blitz pickup, and they've been taken back into Shador in double teams before. And they have not seen a defensive tackle like a Jason Dumas. I think he could have a giant game. And if he can be a game wrecker and find a way to get to Shador, that will open up a lot of things for this Prairie View defense. If you can make Jackson State really think about putting Shador back in that pocket and speed up the clock of Shador, which no one has been able to do this year. Nobody has been able to speed up the internal clock for Shador because of his ability to get out of the pocket, of course. That those DNs got to contain, but Dumas is the X factor on that side. But for JSU, the only X factor that matters, man. Shador Sanders. I mean, let's just be honest. That no running game. The offensive line, he would play better if you just put the sled that the offensive line puts around in practice. They would play better because that might trip them. That would be a better O-line than like the 5 guys they got out there right now. So for me, I think it's just Shador, his ability to make plays, ability to get out the pocket. And if he has a clean day, man, I'm talking about no interceptions, the fumble bug doesn't catch him again. I think Jackson State's going to have a great chance to win this game, man. But he has carried this offense every single game, man. And if they didn't have Shador, Jackson State would not be in this position. I'm sorry. If you take Shador away and put in any other quarterback, I don't think Jackson State's in this position. You got to give Shador a ton of credit for carrying this offense to this point.
Okay, so I want to go back to Jason Dumas. This is the key for me when it comes to Jason Dumas. Because remember, if anybody watches Shador and how he moves through the pocket, that's probably his first getaway is up, and he'll either step up or slip out, or he'll step up and run up. If Jason can hold that front down and really make him widen out those runs, to go around the D ends, you have a strong chance to get to Shador than allowing him to step up in that pocket and shoot out. But I think that's going to be a big factor. All right. My X factors is a little different. All right. I got TC Taylor, right? Because I'm kind of in the same boat as Willie Simmons, right? Do you show up in big games? Do you show up in big games? Because let's be honest and call a spade. Southern, he didn't call a good game. I don't care what you want to talk about it. They were all off. The execution was off. Some of the play calling was just like, what the hell is that? I think they tried to do a reverse like on 2nd and 9 on their own side. I'm like, why are you doing a reverse? Just dumb stuff. All right. So TC Taylor, he needs to be on. These Jackson State defensive backs needs to be on. When I tell you Juwan Pass throws the best deep ball in the SWAC, I am not lying at all. He throws the best deep ball in the SWAC. He is not afraid to throw into that inside slot man or the far outside slot man to get what he has to go. Now, I'll tell you, Antonio Mullins being down really hurts that team. He is probably one of their best receivers and catches the ball really well over the shoulder and in tight coverage. Next, PV, of course, Juwan Pass. Listen, I don't care if your shoulder banged up, your legs are banged up, your knee banged up. This is the SWAC championship. You got to come to play. And that running back room, there needs to be running by committee. I do not know if Ladinian Brooks is going to be healthy enough to play this game. To me, he's the Alvin Kamara of the SWAC. Very versatile. Get it out the backfield, run it up the gut. So they're going to have to go to that freshman and to their big back that they have in the backfield. But that needs to be a running back by committee, and they have to stick with it. Listen, 2 to 3 yards a pop against Jackson State is a win, okay? Don't look at it as a loss. Don't look at it as like, oh, we're not. You got to stick with it. 2-3 yards. Got to stick with it. Make them commit. They're going to show you what they're going to do, and then you take the shots as needed, all right? Let's get into PV strength and weaknesses. What you got, Blue?
Man, for me, it's the balance. I think offensively, it's the balance of PV. I mean, they're top 3 in yards in passing and rushing. So the fact that they can do both, we haven't those games against Jackson State, they always make people one-dimensional. So if you can have this balance this weekend, I think PV is going to have a better shot than what some people think if they can get the passing game going and off of the rushing game as well. Because if you establish the rushing game, you know this because you played, man. The rushing game's going, it's going to neutralize that pass rush just a little bit because those DNs are not going to be as quick to get upfield. So you have to run the football, have to do it. And also, I really do think Juwan Pass's legs is a giant help this weekend. His ability to get out of the pocket and make something happen, you got to take advantage of James Houston's aggression. Let him come upfield and escape behind him. Put him in read option scenarios and make him choose. Have a quarterback and get in the open field, and he's big enough to run over some of the smaller DBs as well. So I think Juwan Pass's legs is huge. Now, for their weakness, man, for me, I don't know. Like, it's so tough, man, because for me, it's slow starts, I would say. Slow starts. You look at even at the Southern game, they didn't start super fast early. You look at Mississippi Valley last week, they were hurt, but they started terrible. You look at the Alcorn game, they don't always start fast. If you get off to a slow start in the vet, that crowd gets into it, Jackson State starts feeling themselves, you're screwed. You are screwed. If the game, like you said, the game is over. And then also, the defensive backs don't always have the best discipline. Pass interferences, getting lost in coverage. If you do that against Corbin, Wadman, and these wide receivers, they're going to kill you. You have to be disciplined in pass coverage this weekend, and so that's going to be the number one thing. And then also, I really do like the front seven and the run defense. I really don't think Jack State is going to be able to run the football against Prairie View this weekend. So I think that's going to be one of the strengths on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, I agree with you on that last part, but it's Jack State. They don't. When have they ever ran the ball well? Other than Alabama A&M, that ain't even, you know what I'm saying? I would give them props, but it's like, for what? Y'all barely run the ball anyway, all right? For me, Jackson State's strength and weaknesses is simple, man. The weaknesses, I'll go with the weaknesses first because we pretty much all know the strength, is that You have to attack these DBs. They are not that good. Okay. That the only person I'm vouching for is Nugget. That's the only person I ever vouched for is Nugget. Everybody else. Now, Cam is probably the most.
I was about to say.
Cam's my guy. Cam's
you got to give Cam a little bit of credit.
I got to give Cam, like Cam in space, Cam in the hole. Oh, he's gonna light you up. He's gonna put you on your butt. It's a guaranteed tackle. You just put the ball down and run another play, right? Shiloh, we all know what he is. He's a big hitter, leaves his feet. Horrible in space. People talk about, oh, he has 3 picks. Go watch how he got them 3 picks and tell me if he's okay. Whatever. You do your own math. All right. It wasn't no Antoine Collier breaking on the ball, stealing it from the wide receiver. You haven't seen one of those. So stop the lies. All right. And you got CJ Holmes. He's a liability, and the young guy out there, they're all liabilities out there. That's what it is. So Jawan, I won't say make this a pass happy game because that gives more Antoine Owens, James Houston getting home to your quarterback, but you can't be scared to take a shot. That's the thing a lot of teams are. They're scared to take shots against Jackson State's DBs and really make them run the field. They like to keep everything in front of them. The strength, okay, come on, man. Front 7. I mean, you arguably have the best player in the SWAC, James Houston. Like,
there's no arguably. Just give it to him. We don't have to listen. If anyone wants to call in and tell me why he's not, you're gonna lose. So he's the best player in the SWAC.
Yeah, easily, right? So you got James Houston, and if I'm being honest, he should have won newcomer and defensive player of the year. That's just my point. I'm my 2 cents. You have arguably the 2 best backers in the SWAC. Keontae Hampton, Aubrey Miller. You have that grown man, Antoine Owens. I mean, your front 7, literally, the Coinus Miller. Like, you have everything you need all in your front 7. It's the strength of your team. It is what your team is bred on. And usually, as long as you can score over 21 points, Jackson State is not going to lose. It's just that simple because no team ever has scored over 21 points. So that is what it is. The strength as well is listen, Shador's composure, man. Listen. That is a strength beyond a strength. Like his composure, the way he can he moves through the pocket like water. He cuts through it like water, just flows, and nothing ever seems to rush him. Nothing ever seems to really phase him when he's in the pocket. And to be a freshman and have that type of ability is amazing. I mean, just purely amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's one of the strengths, and his ability to stay calm, cool, dictate the offense and everything like that. I think that's a great thing. Now, Blue, what does JSU need to do to win?
Put the ball in Shador's hands. That's it. That's all you got to do. Put it in his hands and let your wide receivers go be playmakers. Go be playmakers in space, man. Jackson State always has the advantage on the offensive side of the ball in space with their wide receivers. I mean, Malachi Wadman, Keith Corbin, Warren, Lanier, they're going to beat you in space, especially with PV's DBs being they not very disciplined, man. I'm sorry. They're just not. I'm really worried about that moving forward. But your game plan all year has been you can't run the football, and it's going to be Shador's game. Mm-hmm. Put the ball in his hands. Listen, he was made for this moment. This is why Jackson State fans wanted to crown him the leader of the SWAC before he even played. This is why he came to Jackson State. This is why he recruited him. This is why Dion came here. Put the ball in your son's hands and show everybody he can go win you a championship. That's all they got to do to win the game. And on defense, man, someone needs to go do something to James Houston to piss him off before the game. Just make him mad and say, "Go get it off pad. You see that guy wearing number 1? I need you to go take his head off." That's it. That's all you got to do. And James Houston, like we've talked about, Scotty, even off camera, he is a game record defensive end. He is just like some of these top Power 5 guys, like a Thibodeau, that can really win you the game. Really and truly. He can win a game off the defensive line, and that takes a special player. So for me, get after Juwan pass, force him into mistakes, because we saw, especially with Incarnate Word, if you can get to him, he'll throw picks. And if you start throwing picks, Jackson State's going to run away with this game. So get after the quarterback, put the ball in Shador's hands, and say, "This is why I recruited you. Go win a game."
Too easy. I like that, Blue. I like it. I'm loving it. All right, call lines are open, guys. We got one more question that I got to answer, but call lines are open. 516-259-9041. 516-259-9041. Let me get these jokers open.
You are the only participant in the conference.
All right. When you hear the white lady, that means the call lines are open. All right. Call lines are open 516-259-9041. All right. What does PV need to do to win the game? Listen. You need a little bit of angels in the outfield, just a little. All right, not too many. Just a couple ball bounces your way and stuff like that. But listen, you need your senior 24, 25-year-old quarterback to be great. Okay, and you need your old line to have pride and be great. To me, if you can listen, if you've seen it across the board, if you can block up Jackson State's front, you'll always have a chance in the game. I don't care what you're talking about, because their offense, and let's be real, is not that explosive. And what I mean by that, let me be very clear what I'm saying. They're not going to shoot out and go 24-0 on you, 35-0 on you. That's not how they get down. They'll 7, 10, 17, 24, 35. The next thing you know, you look up, you're like, damn, I'm down by 10, right? They are a quick strike offense, but they're not they'll pour on the points. And I don't believe that's going to happen in this game. So for PV to win, you got to block up the front. You got to make plays. And listen, oh, God, this is the biggest thing. Coaches cannot be scared. Coaching. You cannot be scared to go win the game. Listen, Jackson State is not the team where you simply say, oh, it's 4th and 1. I'm on my own 40. I'm going to kick the field goal. What? That's like kicking field goals against Aaron Rodgers. It don't work, okay? And I'm not calling Aaron Rodgers. I'm just talking about the team that you're playing against. Kicking field goals does not work against Jackson State. You have to be the aggressor. Now, I understand taking the points, but at some point in time in certain matchups, you have to say, hey, listen, we're going into this game with the mindset that we got to go win it. We're going to go freaking win it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the little stuff like that to me is going to be the difference. I just, the coaching, man, it scares me, man. Whew. Coaching scares.
And I mean, really and truly, PV, the number one thing for me is keep it close. Outside of one game, Jackson State hasn't really blown anybody out. If you can keep it close and get into the fourth quarter, and you can look at that quarterback at Juwan Pass, who has a bunch of experience, you look at Dumas, a bunch of experience, and you say, listen, y'all have been here, go win us the game and show why you're the playmakers you are. That's what they got to do. Because once it gets out of hand, if they let Jackson State get up by 2, 3 scores, it's going to be real hard to come back in the vet, I believe. So for me, as long as you can get it to the fourth quarter and it be a 3-7, maybe even a 10-point game, as long as you have a chance, that's going to be the key for Prairie View for me.
All right, let me ask you this. I'm gonna get to this topic a little bit because I believe Coach Walker put it up. But do you hire Coach Dooley if he wins this game?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, listen. Okay, so let me ask you something, Scotty. I want you to be completely honest with me here. If they win this game, is PV's a better team than Jackson State right now?
Negative.
Even if they win.
Negative.
Okay, so yes, he got an upset win. I mean, do we just hire coaches because they got lucky one weekend? He's shown you repeatedly he can't beat the Mississippi Valleys. He can't beat the Alcorns in the big games. This is his first time winning anything big. So for me, what is the goal of the Southern is the ultimate question I have for Southern fans who are okay with the Dooley hire. What is the goal? Is it to get lucky once every 3 years to go to the SWAC championship and hopefully maybe beat Jackson State or FAMU? Or is your goal to be another powerhouse in the SWAC and challenge Jackson State year in and year out? I mean, really, truly, what is your goal if you're a Southern fan? Because for me, I don't think Dooley's going to get you to that level that I think a lot of Southern fans expect. And listen, and as much as you want to clown the, Coach Sanders hire or whatever, Ashley Robinson took a chance and it paid off. He said, listen, Deion's only coached high school football, but we know what he is as a brand, what he is as a recruiter, and I'm putting money on my decision-making, the interview process that this guy's going to take us to the promised land. You know what a Dooley hire is? It's a scared hire. It's a scared hire. and you're not. And listen, and everyone wants to say like you don't like a scared game plan doesn't win you the game. A scared hire doesn't win you national championships or SWAC championships. So for me, if you're serious about competing for the SWAC, go out and make a legit hire. If you've hired Dooley, you know what that tells me about Southern? That you're okay with being the third best team in your own division. That's what you're telling me.
All right, so let me. I be coming for people. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing, my boy. You not trolling. You a fan. Keep doing what you're doing. If you think PV gonna win, all right, cool. And let me get talk to this. Hey, Wakanda name. Okay, no, I called you Blood Diamond name. That's what I called you. Blood Diamond. Listen here, boy. Relax. All right, he not how he trolling, and he went to the school. Hey, Blood Diamond, relax. Okay, relax before you get put in timeout. All right, chill. So, all right, Mr. Ford's on the line. Let me talk to him. What's up, Mr. Ford? Talk to me.
Listen, what Southern is doing is something that a lot of HBCUs is doing. Hold on, let me turn this thing down. Yeah, hold on one second. Okay, that's called inbreeding, nepotism. And a lot of schools been involved now. When Southern University brought in Pete Richardson, they was thinking outside of the box. They had an outstanding lady as president, Dr. Dolores Spikes. The lady was brilliant. But the other thing was they had an outsider as the athletic director, Marina Castle. Actually, the people at Southern, they wanted Archie Cooley. Remember the gunslinger? He was at Mississippi Valley. That's Jared Rice's coach and Willie Tiden's coach. That's who they wanted. Marina Castle and Dr. Spikes got together and brought in Pete Richardson from Winston-Salem. They went against the whole thing of inbreeding and nepotism. And that's what Southern, I mean, it's still there, you know. For them, Eric Dooley at Southern is family. Now, I think he played at Grambling. He went back, he was from New Orleans. He was on Pete Richardson's staff for many, many years. And they see him as family. That's what that is. That's what it is. It's inbreeding. It's inbreeding. But now listen, Scotty, I want to hear from y'all. There's a guy, my school told me today that Jawan Pass is hurt.
Yeah, he messed up his shoulder.
Jawan Pass is hurt, that he's not playing.
I don't know.
Is that true?
Now, listen, this is the one thing about the SWAC that I do not like. They do not have an injury report. And then you have people on the coaches call who don't ask the questions that can get you answers. Okay. Right. So I don't know, but from what I heard, he messed up his shoulder against Texas A&M. That's only. But if you play that Valley, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to play in the SWAC championship because you should be good to go.
Well, listen, my last point is this: I want him to play against Jackson State defense. I want to see what he can do against that defense. That's what I want to see what he can do because I'm still torn about is he NFL caliber, and if he's not NFL caliber, can he go and play in the CFL? Listen, y'all having a great show and continue with your show.
Hey, appreciate it.
Blue. Now let me ask you this question before I go. There were several kids at Auburn that transferred. Can we get some of them boys in the SWAC? I mean, there's several of them that went to the transfer portal at Auburn. I think was either yesterday or today. Do you think we can get some of those kids in the SWAC?
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, all of them are Southern kids and probably want to stay in the Southeast. It probably just depends. It really depends on one, who offers them, and two, if the SEC has this thing where if an SEC player transfers, a lot of other SEC schools will call, and I would have a hard pressed time to see all of them. I would have a hard pressed time seeing all of them go to the SWAC, but Jackson State definitely needs to call Tayshawn Manning. That's an offensive lineman. He overcame cancer when he first got to Auburn. He overcame leukemia and got a starting job, and then he lost it this year. I think Jackson State needs to call him, man. He's a big guy and a great kid. So, I mean, I think Tayshawn Manning is probably your best bet, but some of the other ones are younger players who didn't see themselves earning playing time. But for me, I think a lot of those players, especially Elijah Cannon, he's probably going somewhere in Florida. I'd imagine some of these guys are going to go to UCF to follow Gus Malzahn because they're all Gus Malzahn recruits.
Okay, now I'm gonna leave after this. You were kind of critical of the young man at Oklahoma. You were kind of critical of this Lincoln Riley move to Southern Cal. Let me tell you something. Lincoln Riley is headed to a gold mine. Do you know that the majority of the players in the NFL are from California? Most of their players, what's happening because Southern Cal has been trashed ever since Pete Carroll left, and that Kelly guy's okay. But listen, all their kids are leaving. That kid at Alabama, that quarterback, he should be at Southern Cal. That kid at Clemson, who was the quarterback, the big DJ Amalele, whatever, he's about 6'5". That kid should be in Southern Cal. So I just want to say to you now, traditionally, California high schools are a gold mine. I think that guy, Lincoln Riley, has hit a gold mine by going to Southern Cal. I'd just like for you to talk about that because I think he did well. And I'm going to say this too before I go. That guy that's coming down from Notre Dame, I know you were critical of him because you said that Notre Dame is in contention. Let me tell you something. Every time Notre Dame gets in that Final Four, they get the shit beat out of them.
Facts.
About 30 and 40 points.
Facts.
And I'm going to say this to you. That man, that Brian Kelly guy, I've been watching him since he was at a Division II school called Grand Valley. Let me tell you something. Give him 3 years, he's going to win a national championship. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate it, Mr. Ford.
But yeah, so I know we just let him go, but I'm not critical about Lincoln Riley at all. I said I agree, man. Listen, and I didn't even like the idea. Like, I know some people are saying he's running from the SEC. I wouldn't even say that. Like, and I said it last night on my live stream. It's not, he didn't run. He made a good business decision. I mean, really and truly, why go to the SEC and have to fight Nick Saban and Kirby Smart every single year just for your conference when you can go out to the West Coast? And listen, his top 2 recruits in his 2023 class, he had the #1 quarterback and the #1 wide receiver in the country. Both went to high school in Southern California. So they were going to follow him. And over the past 3 or 4 recruiting classes, he's recruited like 6 or 7 5 and 4 stars from Southern California. Great business decision. I have no problem with Lincoln Riley. I would just say the only thing I would say about Brian Kelly is that at least you should have waited it out and given your players the idea that they had a chance. But we can disagree on that. But I don't think Lincoln Riley made a bad decision at all. Why go fight the greats of college football when you go out to the West Coast and all you got to compete with is Oregon and Utah every 2 years? So, I mean, he made a great business decision.
Oregon, all of them jerseys. That's what you got to worry about. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, calling from Charlotte. This from B-More. What's up? What's up, Script?
What's good? Talk to me.
Hey, not much. I'm still got Blue on there. Which tell Blue what's up, man. Hey,
What's up,
I
man?
wouldn't hire Dooley. And if Brian Kelly makes a mistake, and if this guy still wants, if this guy wants to be a head coach, Southern should throw the biggest bag at Corey Raymond. That's all I got for you.
Hey, appreciate the call.
Man. Great. All right.
Okay, so I actually got some inside stuff on that. One, they would be smart to throw back at Corey Raymond. He's been the DB coach at LSU, and he was the Matthew guy. He was the Jamal. I mean, listen, my old co-host Brandon, he called me yesterday. Corey Raymond, when the LSU AD made the job, a requirement for any head coach coming in was that Corey Raymond was going to stay on the staff.
Ooh, that's what
he said. Well, listen, I mean, this is from a booster at LSU. Any coach that said they would not keep Corey Raymond as the DB coach and or promote him to D coordinator got sent right out of the building. It was literally Corey Raymond is the face of LSU right now. That keeping him was more important than hiring a head coach for LSU.
Wow.
So Southern, I'm sorry, like I know Southern fans might hate me. Southern could sell the stadium rights to Corey Raymond and he wasn't going to Southern.
Wow, Blue. God, that. Listen, they love you like that, man. You gotta, the bag is there. I mean, but honestly, for the right price, anybody's gonna go. But I think, with Corey Raymond's thing, I mean, if you want to be a head coach, okay, cool. But I don't know if I'm not even gonna go there. Not even gonna go there. I want to go to one of these. What's up, gents? I know you in the comments. I saw you. What's up, gents? Let me see. I want to talk about the Javante Gardner and here you go. Javante Gardner and Charles Armstrong have both entered the portal. Now, listen, I was talking to an earlier subscriber and I said, listen, this is why you got to give Nick Saban a lot of credit for what he does, because people are willing to wait in line. Like you have talent to where they can go start. And I don't listen, guys. When I'm saying this, I want you to understand what level of comparison I'm talking to. If you take all the 5 stars that Nick gets, or 5 or 4 stars, and you compare them to the 3 and 4 stars that Dion got for the SWAC, they're comparable. And what I mean by the level of talent. But what you got to fail to realize is that the patent, the je ne sais quoi, they say, to keep them there, to like, hey, I know it's not your time yet, but just wait with me. Your time is coming. Let him move out while you're getting new talent in, Blue. And still sit there and be like, okay, I'm cool with the program. I'm cool with where this is going. That takes a skill beyond a skill. Can you speak to that, Blue?
Man, it's just, and I know. Listen, this one, we'll go on a whole rant with this one. This one will be a good one. The idea, and I see it in your comments all the time, and I cannot stand it because anyone who says it has no idea what they're talking about. And it's true to a point, but I want to give a perspective. They're like, Nick Saban wouldn't be anything if he didn't have the players. No shit, Sherlock. But give him some credit for going out and building that roster, recruiting those players, keeping them there, and building a winning culture. No, I'm sorry, I don't listen. And I know everyone claims Deion's the best recruiter in the country. Nick Saban is hands down the best recruiter in the country, and I don't care what. I'll fight anybody on that point because it has been a proven fact since 2003 until now. He's been the best recruiter in the country every single year. And the only person that's even sniffed him in the list is Kirby Smart, and that was his right-hand man for years at Alabama. And it's because he literally breathed in everything. Like, he is Nick Saban Jr. right now at Georgia, and they're getting everybody. But it's and I like the comment by Stead Harper there. It's the maturity of the kids, man. They understand that it's bigger. They understand that, listen, yeah, I can go and transfer to FCS or Group of 5 school and be a starter day one. But if I wait my turn for 2 years and do what I have to do, I'm going to be a star at Alabama potentially and almost have a way better shot at the NFL. And even if I don't, I play for the best coach of all time, and I'm probably going to win a national. I mean, Nick Saban has not had a recruiting class at Alabama that hasn't won a national title. Put that in perspective.
Say that again, Blue.
Put that in perspective. There has not been a player that Nick Saban has recruited at Alabama that has not won a national title, and most of them have won 2. I mean, just put that in perspective. I mean, listen, Nick Saban, man, is just on a different level. And listen, and the thing is now, and I forgot who said it, was one of the big national people. He said that the transfer portal, this idea that it would help the smaller schools, is false because people like Nick Saban would dominate. I don't know if you tuned into my mailbag last night, Scotty. They're the favorites to land the top 2 recruits in the transfer portal right now. I mean, they are. They're like 5-star Eli Ricks coming from LSU, Bama, Ohio State. Former 5-star Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. It'd be great if he came to the SWAC. Guess what? He's going to Bama. And I mean, like, every single year. And then, I mean, I'm going to put it in perspective, and we can move on with this because I know this is a SWAC show, and some people probably don't even care about this whatsoever. But they got Jamison Williams right this year, the wide receiver, number 1 on Alabama this year. He didn't even sniff the starting lineup at Ohio State. He transferred because he couldn't start over Olave. He couldn't start over Garrett Wilson. He's the leading receiver in the SEC right now, one of the top leading receivers in touchdowns, and leads the entire country in yards per catch right now at Alabama. So he can get those recruits that you couldn't develop and turn them into superstars at Bama. That's the difference between Saban and then the parent I talked to at Jackson State. He's got some Power 5 hours to him too. He said the difference between a lot of SWAC recruiting and Power 5 recruiting is SWAC recruiting. If you have a good left tackle, if you have a good corner, the coaches won't recruit that position because they're set for 2-3 years. They won't recruit that position until they need it. The difference with Saban is there's not a position on the field other than kicker and punter that he doesn't recruit a player every single year at.
Boy, Blue, you spitting out here today, boy. You hot. Boy, you hot fire. People are loving it. People are absolutely loving it. All right, last Power 5 question. I don't have many callers in today, so we might get up out of here early, Blue. What do you think of the Rattler? Somebody just called in. But what do you think Rattlers from OU is going?
Yeah, for me, I think he's going to go West Coast. He's probably going to go to a Power 5 program, probably out west. I think Washington could be a possibility. I don't think Lincoln Riley wants him. UCLA is going to lose Dorian Thompson-Robinson soon. That'd be an opportunity. But I think he goes back to his home state, man. I think right now Arizona State and Arizona are probably the top two choices for him. And I think Arizona State to go play for Herm Edwards, to go play with who I forgot the other Bengals coaches on the staff too. They have multiple NFL Herm Edwards and a bunch of NFL coaches. I think that's where he's going to go because they're about to lose their quarterback to the NFL draft.
Okay, got you. Take these couple callers real quick. Hey, caller, you live, talk to us. What's your name? Where you come from?
Hey, what up? Hey, this is Calvin calling from Phoenix.
Talk to me.
By way of Jackson. Hey, so something y'all said about the SWAC. SWAC is kind of reactive, They like to react to things instead of be proactive. Like when Deion first got there, he flipped Trevante Rucker from Florida. But then Trevante Rucker went on to say that he committed to Jack State, that Southern started blowing him up then. Why not Pitt start blowing him up? They like scared to go after a lot of those 4 or 5-star kids. It's like they don't want to. It's like they don't want to shoot that shot at that pretty girl because they're afraid that she won't tell them no. That's the worst they're gonna tell you is no. Go ahead, shoot your shot.
Facts.
Try it. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, Deion will be a damn fool if he's not recruiting another quarterback right now. And I know he is, because that's what you do. You keep recruiting. The quarterback is something you got to recruit every damn year in college. Maybe 2 of them. You saw what Maynard did. Maynard got 2 quarterbacks, and he got damn your boy Quincy Casey.
But let's Quincy Casey. But let me ask you this though. But let's be real. If you were a dad and you had a 4-star quarterback, would you send him to Jackson State?
Well, it depends.
Okay, talk to me.
Like me, I'm a diehard Jack State fan. Don't let me. You'll take your ass to Jack State, man. But being realistic, it's kind of like where he has the best chance of going pro at. You know what I'm saying? Like now, if Deion proves it, he starts like James Houston is going to get drafted, and when James Houston got drafted, he stayed at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if he can prove that to parents and players that hey, look, James Houston wasn't going to get drafted at Florida. He came to Jack State now, and he's going to be a 2-3 round draft pick. That to me is a good selling point. Now, wait a minute, he got on something here. You know what I'm saying? That will get my attention a little bit, because that's pretty much what the player wants. The player wants to shine. The player wants to have the idea to go on a pro. You know what I'm saying? As a player, that's what you want. I thought I was going to pro until the day I broke my ankle. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm going to go lead. And that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? You probably had that same dream too. My
thing is, the only reason if Shador was a junior, I would send my son there, right? I would not. If I had a 4-star quarterback and him being a sophomore, I wouldn't ask. I wouldn't 4-3-star. I wouldn't tell him to go there, because you got to sit for 2 more years. You got to sit for 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a true competition. I don't care what nobody says. As long as Shador Sanders is behind center, there will never be a true competition. Would you ever see what Nick Saban did to Jalen Hurts in the national championship game? Could you ever imagine Deion Sanders doing that to his son? Exactly. The laughter by you says it all.
To be fair, Nick Saban might have been the only coach at that time to pull that move too.
That's fair.
That's still funny, bro. Hey, but now something about this PV, Dooley, Dooley is that. What is Dooley's record right now? All time, he's like
he has a winning record though.
30 games.
He does have a winning record, because I looked it up. I got it in my little computer over here. So let me get that.
I think he won but he's like right around he wins 2 and loses 1, something like that, right?
Something like that. Probably 2 for 1.
Like a 7-4, 6-5 every year. Not really been in contention for the SWAC, and they weren't predicted to be that good in the SWAC. And they're like the 4th best team, I think.
He is 20-14.
20-14? Oh, hell no.
He's 20.
I was better than that.
He's 20-14.
I'm just saying, if you Southern University and you hiring this guy and you got You saw Alabama State. Alabama State dropped the ball big time. You know.
Yeah.
This is your chance to get, to knock out the home run. But they about to fuck it up. So it's up to the glad bags now. So who have you heard that they trying to get?
Listen. If I'm being honest, I haven't really heard anything. I got a couple Grambling insiders, pretty much alumni. You know what I'm saying? I got some. I call them my insiders, but they're alumni, and they'll send me. They told me they'll keep me up to date on what's going on at Grambling. But for right now, I haven't. But hey, man, I got a lot of callers. They just jumped on. I guess you got them. I guess that quarterback question got them buzzing. Go ahead, man. Appreciate the call though.
All right,
All right, man. You too, man. Appreciate it. Man, yeah, they jumped on here quick. Hey, what's up, Coach? Hey, what's up, Coach Art? You live?
How you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good. What's up, Coach?
All right, I just want to talk about coaching changes for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that people forget about college football in regards to HBCUs is the intellectual capital. Mr. Campbell brought up Archie Gunslinger Cooley, whose offense led Bill Walsh to win 4 Super Bowls and also modernize
West Coast,
the NFL.
Yeah.
So when we look at intellectual capital and things that are going on, like, for example, this situation, the word on the street is that Marcus Freeman isn't equipped to be Notre Dame's head coach. So him and Luke Fickell are supposed to switch places. So we all know what that's about. So when these brothers keep hitting that glass ceiling at the PWI level, which they've been doing for quite so long, including myself, you'll see more interest coming into black colleges. So it's up to these schools, like you have been saying, like Blue has been saying, to do their due diligence. Now, you may have some situations like the real estate, and if Coach Dooley gets hired, sometimes they work. Like I text you the other day, I said, I'm in the frat too. I hit up Jason Cable immediately. You know what I'm saying? But you never know. But I just think on a grander scale, these schools have to do a better job of raising the intellectual capital of everyone around them. Because if you raise that intellectual capital first, you'll get more wins, and those wins will increase your facilities and your actual physical capital.
Hey, Coach Harper, Blue got something to say. Go ahead, Blue. I feel like you want to say something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say anybody on TV who says that Marcus Freeman is a legit Notre Dame candidate, completely misinformed. I mean, yeah, the Notre Dame insider I know said that every single top booster at Notre Dame, every single player on the roster, and every single recruit said that they are going to riot if they don't hire Marcus Freeman. So he is the number one prospect right now for Notre Dame, and there's a good chance he might get the job.
I hope they give it to him, Blue. Well, we all know how that table turns, and sometimes, he could be the best qualified, but, again, he was, the way other people look at it is, you came up, under the Fickell tree, you were at Cincinnati, you played at Ohio State. I hope he does get the Notre Dame job, and I definitely hear what you're saying, but just on that alternate end, that happens a lot of times as well, too.
Hey,
that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. And listen, I mean, if they don't hire Marcus Freeman, whoever ends up with him is going to get one of the best young coaches in the country. Listen, I said when I thought he was going to go to LSU last year for the D coordinator job, and I really think that he should have got one of the Group of 5 offers. But man, if he can get the Notre Dame job, that's going to be a huge step forward, and I think he deserves it, man. I mean, when you look at the defense that he built at Cincinnati, I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I mean, that Cincinnati defense has been top 10 in the country for 2 straight years at Cincinnati, man. And this year, Notre Dame's defense has been outstanding. So, I in my opinion, if they don't hire Marcus Freeman, man, it was a tragedy in Notre Dame that they didn't give him a chance.
I agree 1,000, Blue. Before I leave, I want to drop a name on y'all, because I was talking about intellectual capital. That'll be a great head coach coming up. Brennan Marion, he's a Pittsburgh native. We both from the same hometown. Played at Tulsa. He's under the Gus Malzahn tree. He was recently the offensive coordinator at Howard when Kalen Newton was there, when they beat UNLV, came close to beating the MAC school. Went to JMU with Mike London. Now he's a receiver coach at the University of Pittsburgh. He had told me personally he was interested in the job. And with you can look it up, his go-go offense, what it did to the MEAC when he was offensive coordinator with Coach London. He's a great intellectual capital. He's a wide receiver coach on the BCS level. Those are the guys that I think these HBCUs need to bring in, along with, guys like myself that's, been, trodden the path to get these jobs instead of because they can bring, if I'm a wide receiver coach at Pitt, I can bring the third or fourth wide receiver there is going to be better at any SWAC school and so many other players. So just look at that name in the future, Brennan Marion, wide receiver coach, University of Pittsburgh.
Hey, Blue got something to say. Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, man. So I talked to my mailbag last night. He's actually one of the 2 candidates that Temple just interviewed for the head coaching job, supposedly, and that Temple really is looking at him to be their next head coach.
Yeah, he would do great. The thing with Temple is they're a regional recruiting. You probably know this, Blue.
Yeah.
Outside of the tri-state, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and really Eastern Pennsylvania. So I think that'll be a lot of people don't realize the distance between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia is 6 hours. So the state is really split in half. So I think that'll be a great move. He can build up his program very similar to Matt Rule. He got that opportunity. I think Brennan Marion should do it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Blue. Y'all have a great day.
I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
This is okay. So this is my thing. I like that question. Somebody said the top 3 players that get a chance to get. I like that. I like the picture. That's pretty funny. Top 3 players in the SWAC have a realistic chance to get drafted. Number 1 is James Houston. That's for me. Number 1 is James Houston. Number 2 is Marquise Bell, and number 3. I would go with the Quill, but if I was a betting man, I would bet DeAnderson before him because of, simple fact of 6'5", 6'6", you know what I'm saying? Can run, can really great hands. I think Aquil's lack of mobility is the only thing that really keeps him from being drafted. So I have him going undrafted, but go ahead. What you got on that, Blue?
I think Marquise Bell and James Houston are 1 and 2 easily. You can kind of flip either way, and I'm going to go. If I had to bet who would get drafted, I'm going to probably shock a lot of people. I think Kamari Everett's going to get drafted. If I had to put money on it, because and here's a few things. 1, he's got the size, the athleticism. I think he's going to kill his pro day, and then on top of that, if there's one position that people are willing to take risk on at lower schools at a lower level of football, it is going to be tight end. Every tight end in the NFL most of the time comes from a smaller school. They're not going to look at it's not like a quarterback. It's not like a wide receiver. I personally think Kamari Everett is probably next, in my opinion, probably the 3rd best chance of getting drafted this year.
I like that. I totally, Blue, that's the pick right there. He just oozes draft. He just oozes draft off of him and things like that. So
he's got the raw talent, man. If you got a 6th-round pick and you need a tight end, man, take a flyer. Like, you got a 6'6", 260-pound dude that can play like inside. Like, come on, man. There's no way you pass him up.
Most definitely. Totally agree. Let's got a couple more callers. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, man, this is Vaughn from Detroit, brother.
What's up, Vaughn? Talk to me.
Hey, man, that Eric Dooley hire is horrible. If you expect him to compete with Deion and recruiting, you out your goddamn mind.
Okay, so let me hold on. Let me counteract that real quick. The reason people love Eric Dooley is because he can recruit Louisiana. He knows Baton Rouge like the back of his hand. He knows New Orleans back in the back of his hands. So it's no different than what Blue talks about in knowing Alabama. If you can get the players that you're supposed to get from the state, you can definitely do work. But go ahead.
If Eric Dooley walk into my house and Deion walk into my house, that's 2 different things, brother. It ain't no competition. I ain't second guessing. That is a horrible hire. You spoke that list you had of people that acquired for that Southern job. It was 2 or 3 people you could have hired other than him.
No, I get you, but think about this. But think about this. If your son play wide receiver, right? Like, this is a tough one because if your son sees the wide receiver room, he's like, Dad, I might not get a chance to play. If I go to Southern, they ain't got nobody. Like them jokers over there are not good. I can start day one. So it works on depth chart. It works on what the coaches is telling them. You know, like these kids nowadays, they know other kids at schools. They get on Instagram, they hit up kids like, hey, what's that cornerback room looking like? You think I got a chance? Like it's little stuff like that. But let's be real. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you go. I'm sorry. Nick Saban walks into a lot of houses and don't get people. Deion's the same way. He can walk into a lot of houses and not get people. It's possible. Like,
but it's competition with Nick. It's a little competition with Nick Saban. I hear what you're saying, but it's a little more competition with Nick Saban. And the SWAC is Deion, then it's everybody else. And that ASU hire is atrocious. I don't know what they were thinking, what they were smoking. That's like a drug dealer telling you it's $50 eighth. Here's Reggie and here's Kush. It's real easy. It's real easy. You put it that way. I'm picking Deion over all that. I'm sorry.
No,
I mean recruiting is everything.
Listen,
when it comes to this, yes,
you're
recruiting is everything. And I don't think Dooley could do it. I don't think the dude at ASU could do it. And the rest of the SWAC just has to fall in line.
But okay, listen. What about this? Like, this is the thing that I get. What about the schools? And I don't even want to go Power 5, right? What about the schools who get kids you don't know about, kids you haven't heard? A lot of NFL pro athletes are 2-star, 3-star, no-star athletes that get developed. You see what I'm saying? So there's times where you can get a kid who's just raw, you develop him, and he becomes a staple in your offense or a staple in your defense.
I definitely understand that, but with the transfer portal, development is totally different.
Kids still need to be developed.
It's going to be hard to develop people with the transfer portal.
No, kids, listen. Listen to me. I want you to listen very closely. My high school coach, was a wide receiver coach at the Indianapolis Colts, right? For 5 years. Coached wide receivers. He would come to me and say, Abrion, that's my name. He would say, Abrion, this is horrible. He's like, I got receivers up here that don't know how to run routes. I have receivers up here that don't know the intricacies of route combinations and how it works and how to get on the DB's toes and to make them turn his shoulders and how to sit down on routes, because these kids have gotten by with their talent so much that they've forgotten the technical part of the position. So there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids in Power 5 and JUCOs that just have talent, but they have not been developed for the position. And a lot of times that they just out talent kids. You see what I'm saying? So, but I think you still, at the end of the day, you still need to develop football players and talent. But go ahead, Blue, if you got something to say.
I think you said it perfectly.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
No, he said
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand that, but the coaching in the SWAC ain't for development. So I hate to say that, but the coaching in the SWAC is not that good. It's not for development, and that's just what it is. It's rare that you see a coach in the SWAC that will develop a player from the bottom and take him to the top. That just is what it is. But go ahead with what you're saying.
I mean, I think like kids, to me, you can't tell me McNair is not developing these kids, because a lot of these kids you've never heard about, they're like, McNair is not dropping 4 stars and 5 stars in high level. I mean, like, he's not getting these players, but yet and still he is grooming these players to fit his scheme, to fit his system, and being competitive every year. Like, development of players is huge, because you have walk-ons that come and you're like, okay, I can use you for something. You have the Abduls, you have the X's. X-Man from FAMU, walk-on. Abdul Ibrahim, walk-on. These aren't kids that have stars. They have talent, you develop, and they become great. You can't expect that. Listen, let's be real. Jackson State got a whole front line of 3 stars and they were trash. So what are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, you got, like, come on, man. Like, that's Deion's recruiting, right? Tony Gray, not that good. Not that good at all. He's supposed to be this big guy from UCF. Not that good. So what, like, you got to call a spade a spade. Like, it takes developing to get a lot of these players to go to the next level or to be better than what they thought they could ever be. It takes development.
That's a fact. I agree with you there. I'm just saying the recruiting that JSU is doing compared to the rest of the SWAC, it's gonna be a real boring 4 to 5 years. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna be real boring because we're gonna know the outcome of them games.
All right, man. Appreciate
the SWAC
the
is
call.
not improving like they should, but y'all have a good day, brother.
Hey, you too, man. Listen, man, like nobody's taking credit away from Deion's recruiting, but if you think Willie Simmons, if you think Connell Maynard is just gonna sit by and let Jackson State run away with it, you're out of your mind. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll get on Coach Willie Simmons. I'll get on Coach Maynard for not doing the stuff they're supposed to do or getting blown out 62-15 and getting blown out by Southeast Hammond. I'll get on them. But if you think they just gonna sit back and say, you know what? Oh, well, Deion's here. Can't beat him. Might as well join him. No. Any real competitor is going to want that matchup. Any real competitor is going to say, man, listen, come on, Blue, let's be real. If a Connell Maynard, right, comes back and beats Deion next year with a non-number 1 FCS class, how much pride is in that?
A lot of pride, man. I mean, that's just like every other big upset. I mean, the fact that you see teams beat some of these other top teams, man, it's always a big deal, man. That's why you see the fans storm the field, why it's like a program-defining win, and that really that sometimes saves coaches' jobs sometimes, man. If you get a big win like that, where you know winning in a talent deficit is where you could tell if a coach is good or not. If you can win it with a talent deficit, that's how I know you're a good coach. If you can only win with a talent surplus, that's where you got to question coaching, man. So that's always a big thing. If you can win with the talent deficit, that's how you know you're a good coach.
I.e. Vincent Dancy, who should have got, if anybody should have got a bag thrown at him other than a real estate agent, should have been Vincent Dancy, but we're not going to talk about that. But we're going to take 2 more callers, Blue, and we're going to get up out of here. Hey, caller, you live, talk to me.
Hey, fella, what's going on, man? Y'all doing a great show tonight. This Mike calling from Tallahassee.
What's up, Mike? Talk to us.
I played at Bama State, man, and these topics y'all having tonight, these are a lot of topics that's actually circulating on my job. I'm talking about almost every other week. Like, for example, like the Deion, would you go play for Deion or you gonna play at Alabama? I mean, we had heated discussions about this at work. And my thing is, I'm not going to Jackson State. They said no, because you already went to Alabama State, so you know the difference. No. The thing is, I didn't go to Alabama, but I just know from my age, not from my experience, but from what I see and being a younger kid, you know, this what you want to be a part of, the upper echelon, so to speak. Even some of the guys who don't even play that much still get a chance to go as an undrafted free agent. And like the Alabama State thing as well, you got other coaches out here like a Rich Rodriguez and Kevin Sumlin who would do great at Alabama State, I think. And just like you were saying with Shador, man, ain't no way somebody else going to come in there and get an opportunity, a fair opportunity to start. I don't care if he tears ACL, he might still try to play in 2 months later. So, you know, these are a few topics I just wanted to touch on, and I just want to say, man, I appreciate what y'all got going on. And Blue, I don't know what kind of book you got over there in your hand, but man, as soon as somebody say something, you blurting out, okay, yeah, this is what I heard, this was going on. Yeah, they said this and that, because you shocked me when you said the one thing about the coach from Temple, and it was somebody else said something about another coach, and you already was on it.
That's why I
called
him the
man,
boy
guys,
wonder.
Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem,
that's all
Mike.
I got.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Listen, y'all need to give my boy Blue the respect he deserves. I call him the boy wonder because you see what he do. I be like, Blue, I heard about this coach out in Montana, man. He's from a small town called Piccadilly. He's a coach from Piccadilly, and you're talking about John Winston. Oh yeah, John Winston. Yeah, he's the head. He's been looked at as two coaching hires. I'm like, God damn, Blue, how you know that? Oh, you know, I got me an insider out there in Montana. You know, in the Piccadilly area. Oh my God, dog. Different.
Oh man,
that's how you be doing them, bro. That's how you be doing it. Oh man. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
Hey, this Baptiste from Southern University. I had to call in because to talk about this coaching hire, especially at Southern, man. I really hope we don't go with Dooley because we have to, and to be quite frank, raise the standard. Even though Southern, obviously, we call ourselves the standard. So at this third time, Jackson State, I mean, they raised the standard in the SWAC, and we have to get better coaching in the SWAC. I mean, nothing against them, but I mean, look at FAMU. We went to, he made it to the playoffs, and that's all good. But it wasn't a big talent disadvantage that FAMU had. It was coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie Simmons is, you could say, is one of our best coaches. And he was out-coached, in the playoffs. So we got to get better coaches, man. I mean, Dooley, nothing against him, but he's another SWAC coach that's being recycled around. So
all right, let me ask you this: if you had a vote, who would be your top two choices? If you had a vote, who would be your top two choices for Southern?
I would say right now, Ed Reed would have to be there because his name has been tossed around a lot. So I'm guessing he has been asking or someone has reached out to him. And then there's another guy. I think he coached at LSU. His name is Jabbar Jalouk. I think he'll be a good hire too because of his experience at LSU, being kind of local and having that regional experience. So I have to go both of them.
Hey, you listen, Blue been throwing that name out for what, past 2 months now? You been on that?
No, man. No. Before they hired Rollins, bro, I've been saying that name since March. Since March. They'll check that stuff. I had a whole 2 minute drill about why Joe Luke should be the hire, and everyone shit on it, but he would be the best coach by far.
That's funny. But I thought you Luke.
Yes, for sure. Man. But yeah, I'm disappointed with this Dooley, man. I hope you're wrong, OFFScript. I hope you're wrong, man.
Hey, listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hate to be wrong, but I hope I'm wrong because I don't want him at Southern either. Like no,
right,
I want to see that Jackson State and Southern rivalry really mean something. I know it means something, but I want it to like Georgia and Alabama. That's how I want that Jackson State and Southern to feel. I want that thing to feel like it's gonna be two beastie guys coming at each other. That's what I'm waiting to see. But hey, man, appreciate the call though.
I appreciate you, man.
Hey, last call. I gotta let Blue go. He got another show you gotta do because you know that. Hey, listen. When you hot like Blue, people want you. You know what I'm saying? Last caller for real. Hey, caller, you live? Talk to me.
Hello.
Yeah, you live. Talk to me.
Yeah, how you doing, Scotty? What's up, Blue?
What's up, man?
Yeah. So when y'all talking about Coach Saban and Deion and recruiting and all this stuff, right? Y'all gotta understand this. Recruiting is not everything, because at the end of the day, you gotta develop these student athletes with the system that you put in and the performance on the field. You can go into the houses, dress clean, go buy the most expensive suit, come with the limos, come with helicopters, show all this good stuff. But at the end of the day, it's called development. And one thing that separates Coach Saban and most of these coaches is developing players. His program and his system is very, very effective in the weight room that they have. That's why you see every year, whether they lose players that go to the draft, they still able to maintain that dominant success because the system that he puts in and coaching will always take over everything. It doesn't matter how many five-star, 6-star, 8-star players that you get on your team. At the end of the day, developing this young man to the potential that he can be and dominate on the field and dominate at his position. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't come down to everything is about recruiting. It comes down to coaching and developing these players.
Okay.
Deion, I don't know how much coaching Deion.
Wait. Okay, what you cannot do, you cannot compare Alabama to Swac football. Okay, you can't. Nah.
No,
you
I ain't
cannot.
comparing. Y'all was talking about recruiting and Dion recruiting and Coach Saban recruiting. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the brand of football, swag, and SEC. I know it's totally different. I'm talking about recruiting because regardless you playing the lower level, you still go out and recruit players to come to your school. So you still got to recruit. It doesn't matter what program you still got to recruit. When I'm saying Nick Saban recruiting ain't everything. It's about developing players. Because when the players see that, this coach can develop me and put me to this position that I need to be and dominate and shows on the field every day, every Saturday.
But
these kids want that.
But you have to start with something. You can't just walk into the store and have a blank canvas and then think that, I'm going to turn into a Picasso. That does not you can't do that. So you have to start with something.
Yeah, everything takes time though. Everything takes time. Just like when Nick Saban got to Alabama, he wasn't winning right away, but he figured it out. And also one thing about Nick Saban, he always changes up and always adapts to how the college football is going by. Remember when he used to have those big linebackers that can hit and tackle people. Other teams noticed that they couldn't run sideline to sideline because they were real big and it was real slow. So he changed up his system.
Okay.
Fans linebacker that can run outside. Coaching is very important.
Okay. Go ahead, Blue.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I'm gonna help you out a little bit because I think you're right about a lot of what you said. I think a lot of people are getting caught on the one wrong thing you said because recruiting matters. That's because the way you have to look at it is the work to develop a 5-star is less than the work to develop a 2-star. So that's the kind of distinction. But you're right on this, and I don't think a lot of the Power 5 coaches get a lot of credit for that because everyone just says okay, well, they got 5 stars, so they don't have to do anything. The two things that Power 5 coaches have to do when recruiting these top players, one is de-recruitment. De-recruitment is more important than anything in terms of recruiting high-level athletes because you spend months and years telling these players how great they are, what they can do, what this is. So you build their ego and heads up and up and up. Well, then when they get there, they just step in and succeed immediately. So, one of Rodney Gardner, who coached O-line or D-line at Georgia and Auburn, said that de-recruiting players was the toughest thing because you have to de-recruit them and make them realize that, yes, we wanted you here because you're a great athlete, but you still have things you need to improve on. So that's the number one thing is to de-recruit players so that they can understand what they have to improve on. And you're right on this. The top coaches in the country can adapt. And I guess the best way I can explain that, I can have a few examples, but one is Nick Saban. So I don't know if you remember, but the earlier Nick Saban teams used tough defense, a strong run game, and they worked off the play action a lot. And as you've seen, as they hit about the Lane Kiffin years in like 2016, 2017, you saw that change. One, because college football changed. You saw defenses start going with more athletic defenses, running the 4-2-5s, the 3-3-5s, putting better athletes on the field. And to counteract that, that you're putting too many athletes and offenses were spreading out and becoming more pass heavy. And so therefore the scores were going up and it was harder to have a defense like Saban had in 2012 that only allowed like 5 points a game. That's not how you're going to win football anymore. So what he did is he turned the offensive play calling everything over to Lane Kiffin and spread it all out and said, listen, we're going to be a high-flying offense, and now we're going to have to outscore people. And the past few national championships is because Saban's had the best offense in the country now. And he even said in an interview, adjusting to recruiting, the transfer portal, and adjusting to the trends in college football is the hardest thing. And it's easy to recruit a 5-star, but if he doesn't fit into your system and you don't put him in positions to succeed, I get what you're saying that, yes, if Nick Saban threw a corner who's not good at man coverage into a zone scheme, it's not going to work. But one, de-recruitment. 2, putting players in positions to win. And 3, what you're talking about is it doesn't matter how hard you recruit. If you're stuck in your ways like a Les Miles was, where Les Miles did not adjust to college football, and he thought you could just line up under center and run it up the A gap every time, that's not going to win you football games, and that cost him his job at LSU. So the best coaches can de-recruit, they can put players in positions to win and make players fit into their schemes or fit their schemes around players. And then 3, they keep up with the trends of college football and adjust to that. Then that's why the top coaches win every single year.
Thank you for calling. Okay. All right. So I'm closing the call lines down. Appreciate you guys for calling in. All right. Like I said, I got to let Blue go. He got stuff to do. Hey, listen, real quick before I get up out of here. Tomorrow. All right. Hold on. Let me get this going on. Sorry, Blue.
Oh, man, you got time. I got like 30 minutes, man. We're good.
Oh, you got time? All right. So let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Oh, let me see. I think I got it on my thing. Hold on. Make this announcement real quick. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, there we go. All right, here we go. So tomorrow, right? I have an interview. Don't miss it. This is history in the making. All right. This is history in the making. All right. Interview. Keontae Hampton partners with Digital Dope App. All right. Digital Dope App. It's a company that he will be the first college player to have a digital trading card / NFT. I want you guys to put that in perspective. He will be the first collegiate athlete to tangibly have a trading card in his hand that is digital, that you scan it on your phone and you can watch the highlights. It's that dope. All right. He will be selling the cards at the SWAC championship. All right. I'm going to have his people come on. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to have the CEO, one of the CEOs of the company. They're going to also be on the interview to talk about it. This is groundbreaking technology. This company owns it. It's trademarked. They're the only ones that can do it. And when the CEO comes on tomorrow, or the COO, when the COO comes on tomorrow and talks about it, I'm telling you right now, it is going to be a game changer. All right, it's going to be a game changer. So tomorrow, interview with the CEO of the company, Keontae Hampton's people, Keontae Hampton. We're all going to be up in this jank. It's that crazy. I'm telling you, it's going to be a dope experience. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Make sure you sign up with the notifications because we're still trying to work out the time frame. But I'm telling you, this is going to be amazing. Amazing. All right, amazing. Other than that, Blue, you got anything coming up for you?
Yeah, man. So next week, my interview starts as well. Man, we got Jaleel McLaughlin for Youngstown State coming by, and we also got an interview with D. Anderson from Alabama A&M. Those will be dropping next week. And of course, man, tomorrow, I know the SWAC fans aren't excited about the playoffs. We got a live stream tomorrow for the second round of the playoffs, making all the predictions, man, so tune into that. But other than that, conference championship previews on my channel, man. You know, previewing Group of 5, Power 5, all that kind of stuff, man.
All right, that's what's up. Hey, so make sure you check out Blue. If you're not subscribed to Blue Bloods channel, you're bugging. All right, the Blue Bloods. All right, make sure you check that out. And also, I do not have a time on my interview, so that's why you need your damn notifications on, so you know when I go live. All right, or follow me on Instagram or Twitter, OFFScript_TV, OFFScript_TV. Blue, hit them with your Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, our Instagram is @the_Blue Bloods, and YouTube is just search the Blue Bloods, and the first one on there. We don't do live interviews, so mine's probably gonna be dropping at like 10 a.m. sometime next week, and I'll post something on social media for that, man.
All right, too easy. All right, until next time, guys. You know what I'm gonna do. I'ma holla. God bless. I will not be at the SWAC championship. Oh, okay, hold on. Blue, I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna keep talking. All right, I love you, man.
Later.
All right, so listen. I'm not at the SWAC championship, right? I'm not going to go to the SWAC championship. But what I want y'all to do, I have a story I could tell, right? I have a story I could tell about some people that have 4 letters in their company name. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I have a story I can tell about a company that has 4 letters in its name. I'm not gonna say that company's name. You know what I'm saying? You can guess it all you want. I have a story. So, but I'm debating if I want to tell my story. All right. I am debating if I want to tell my story. I'm just saying what it is. All right. So everything in me, listen, you guys know how I get down. I like to put everything on wax. I like to put everything on wax. All right. And you know, I listen, I don't do well with politics. I'm gonna tell y'all that straight up. I don't do well with politics. I'm very non-tactful. Okay. I'm learning. I'm trying to mature. All right. I'm trying to grow. Okay. I'm trying. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna debate whether or not I'm gonna tell this story someday. But listen, when I tell this story, y'all gonna have fun with it. Y'all gonna have fun with it. If I ever decide to tell it, y'all gonna have fun with it. All right. So, hey, listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holler. God bless. No, I will not be at the SWAC championship. Appreciate it.